Welcome. In front of me I have the ZTE NUBIA Air, and I'll be going over unboxing along with a quick look at the device, its specifications, price tag, and just my general opinions about the phone itself. So obviously we're going to start off with the unboxing, which we do have two seals to cut through the bottom. Well, that's one, and that's two. Okay, so that's basically everything that we get in the box. This device supposedly will last us 49 hours based on the little European Union sticker. I'm gonna go through a quick setup just because the brightness of the phone out of the box is a little bit bright, so it's completely overblowing my camera right now. So I'm gonna just kind of skip everything. Yep. Now, I do want to kind of give my first kind of thought about this device out of the box. Not the best kind of start, I will say. It feels very cheap. Feels cheap, looks cheap considering that this is a ZTE Nubia phone. Now I'll explain what I mean by that, because I did own a ZTE device myself at one point. Now let's lower that brightness. There we go. So, let's first talk about the specifications, and I'm going to talk about other things. So, it's actually, if you want to check this, I haven't, oh, okay. Huh. So the phone feels cheap because it is cheap. Okay. I mean, that kind of changes the perspective right here. Okay, so let's go into this. The screen right here, which it's actually a pretty decent screen. It's an AMOLED display at 120 Hz refresh rate with a whopping 4500 nits of peak brightness, so it is a decent display right here. It also rocks a 1224 by 2720 pixel resolution, so it is basically a 1440p display or Ultra HD. So that's a good display right here with a nice crisp resolution, basically perfect black levels with the AMOLED display, contrast ratios infinite, and a good refresh rate at 120. The display right here is actually just checking all the boxes that it needs to. So props for that. Now if we flip it over to the back, we have a camera. It looks to be a triple camera setup, so the middle one seems fake, but I haven't checked it yet. Oh, sorry, are they all freaking fake? Let me quickly check this. GSM Marina states that there is only one camera here, but I can clearly see that there's two, 26mm and 78, I believe, right? So let's see, not this one, not this one. Okay, so it's the last one. Okay, so it's covered. Let's switch to this one. Oh no, okay, it's a single camera. So as you can see, when I uncovered, oops, I just tried it again without pressing the power button. So right now the second lens is selected, so you can see it's just a zoom. Let's see, 50 maybe megapixel. Does anything change this? Nope. So it's still just this one. Portrait, same thing. Night, same thing. Video, same thing. Same thing, same thing. And okay, this doesn't count. Yeah, it's a single camera setup. I hate this. I hate this. Why put two fake cameras? Like, for fuck's sakes. One fake shit, not even one fake camera. One real camera that some manufacturers put as a 2 megapixel macro. Because, you know, it's better that a phone has a fake camera, or not fake, but real camera that is absolute ass, unusable piece of shit. These dipshits put two fake cameras that aren't even usable. Why? Such a stupid logic. Just fuck off with this. Literally, like, take this shit, shove it up your ass. There is no need for these. They literally serve no fucking purpose here. It's literally a sticker here, or as good as a sticker. They have no use. It's a single 50 megapixel camera. That's basically what it boils down to, with a 20 megapixel selfie right here. So not really much happening right here. 1080p 30 frames, it's as best as it can do. If they maybe put more effort into, I don't know, maybe allowing you 1080p 60 frames instead of putting shitty, useless garbage at the back that imitates cameras, that would have been a little bit more useful than whatever the fuck this is here. This is useless. I can't do anything with that. Anyway, let's continue on, because this kind of annoyed me. So let's move over to the internals. Now this phone is on the thin side. It basically follows this moronic logic of making our phones fit between crevices that are smaller than whatever, what is it, 6.7 millimeters. Well, great. And now I wonder if that 6.7 millimeters counts in the camera bump. I don't think so, because it looks like a centimeter now. So I didn't know that we're counting the thickness of the phone from the thinnest point. Well, from a thinnest point, you know what? Why don't you just count the thickness of the power button in this case? I mean, it's a moronic logic, so you might as well go for this. And that looks like it's just 2 millimeters thick. Absolutely shows you nothing. I genuinely hate the idea of making phones thin, and luckily only one generation of this moronic, retarded logic will stick around, because Samsung won't be making a new one, Apple probably won't be making a new one either. No matter how much Linus wants to glaze that shit, it's still shit. So yeah, and this one is honestly less. Let me put it this way: it's less shit than Samsung and an iPhone, because it still manages to, in this thin phone, pack 5000 mAh battery. Now, they're not doing any kind of black magic right here. They're just using carbon silicon battery, which all the dipshits that are selling the most expensive phones like Samsung and Apple decides, nah, that's not for us. We're just gonna give you the shit piece of garbage that we've been pumping into our devices for past a decade and charge you more for it. Screw the newer tech. That would actually require effort, and we're not about that one. So here, we do have the 5000 cell that shit, even the Samsung S25 Ultra can barely fit in their phone, which is basically twice as thick and bigger, or about the same size as this one in terms of screen size. Maybe actually a little bit bigger. So yeah, here we get the new battery. So it allows us to have a huge capacity right here. Now that huge capacity means kind of little when you have other brands from China that are keeping their devices at a reasonable size, like every other devices, like this one. This is the Oppo Find X9 Pro. So it's about the same kind of screen size phone. Traditional thickness, though the weight of it is actually a little bit higher than normal. And this, instead of having 5000 milliamps, it has like 7500. Now, you can translate that into battery life better. So this one obviously won't have as good battery life, but I can tell you, sure shit gonna have better battery life than this, as this has like barely 4000 and its normal thickness. So yay. Anyway, so yeah, this moronic logic of thin phones is kind of stupid. I would like to see a normal size phone with a bigger battery. That would be better. And obviously no sticker cameras. These gotta go. They should be illegal at this point, because it's literally trying to mislead customers into believing that there's more that the phone can offer than it actually does. It's predatory at the best, and blatantly lying at worst, I would say, which when as a marketing gimmick that is inaccurate or incorrect is not legal. So that's gotta go, in my opinion. There should be some kind of law against this. Just like... Anyway, let's continue on. In terms of the storage and RAM, we have 8 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigs of storage. This is the only option you can actually get right here. So, not the highest amount of storage that I can get right here. And even furthermore, I can tell you that by the looks of it, non-expandable storage. So you can't pop in an SD card and extend it further past the 256 that you get out of the box right here. We also are being powered by a Unisoc T8300 processor, which is a budget processor. And I think that's about everything that there is to the device. So, to boil it down, it's a budget phone at about 220 euros. It basically offers what you would expect at this price range. It has certain things going for it, like the huge battery at 5000 milliamps, but to be fair, this is more traditional battery size for non-thin phones. So they're basically kept the same battery, reduced the thickness because it was redundant, and instead of giving you better battery, they just are marketing this as a thin phone. So it's basically, we basically give you the same shit battery that we would do before, and instead of giving you the good battery that other devices have, instead we're gonna market this downgrade as a marketing gimmick of a thin phone. That's basically what this is. It's a gimmick because if they put a 7000, this device would be normal thickness. But that would actually require to put a bigger battery, which would obviously cut away from cost. And honestly, I think that might have been a good choice to add a bigger battery. People might be more inclined to get that over a thin phone. And other things that I didn't actually mention is the build quality. We have plastic back. This feels awful. This feels super cheap and tacky. And we have also plastic frame. But right, let me just quickly check. It doesn't really state it here. Great. But yeah, this seems like plastic frame, though it's not really stated on GSM Arena. But surprisingly enough, we do have IP68 and IP69K. Nice. Rating, which is dust tight and water resistant with high pressure water jets, immersible up to 1.5 meters for 30 minutes. So that's pretty good considering this is a plastic back right here. I have to give it props for that. But in hand it just kind of feels meh. And keep in mind that usually these kind of ratings, or usually all the time, they refer to basically pure water, like tap water in the shower or something like that. If you drop this phone in a pool and chloride basically eats away from the seals and damages it, yeah, that's not covered by warranty. So it's kind of useless in this. So if it drops in the pool, cool, it might have dropped on 1.5 meters for less than 30 minutes, but if it gets damaged from that, yeah, they're not repairing that because that's not clean water. Another thing that is included here is this fake carbon fiber case. Fake because on the back side here is plastic, clearly. Yeah. It honestly makes the device look a little bit better than the tacky plastic back. So I do prefer this, honestly. And other than that, for 220, what is it, euros, dollars, something along those lines, this device offers honestly very little. The only kind of selling gimmick, which obviously other companies already figured out doesn't really sell well, is the thinness. But the thinness here is a byproduct of a smaller battery. Smaller being still pretty good battery. I do want to say that this battery is still good, but considering this is ZTE, they have proven that they can put like massive 8000 milliamp hour batteries into their phones. So this is a choice not to, and as a choice not to give you a good battery, bigger one than they would usually do, they are marketing this as a thin phone, and in this case it kind of loses. Additionally, the charging speed here is quite low at 33 watts. It's still better than, for instance, this piece of shit right here, being only at 25. That's Samsung, by the way. So yeah, for 220 $20. Let me just quickly pull up one phone. CMF Phone 2 Pro, yay, there we go. So, for about the same price, if not actually less, considering it's a little bit older device at this point, being released at the beginning of the year, we have CMF Phone 2 Pro from Nothing. Nothing being the literal name of the company. And that device offers also, would you look at that, 5000 mAh battery, 33 watts charging, AMOLED display, 120 Hz refresh rate with an improvement of 2160 Hz pull rate, so it's a faster display in terms of response rate to your touch inputs. We have HDR10 Plus certification. This doesn't have it. And we have peak brightness of 3000 nits, which is plenty bright anyway, though this one is brighter on paper. Additionally, it will definitely have a way better processor, being the Dimensity 7300 Pro. So that's one improvement, and the other one is the cameras. Cameras being dual 50 megapixel sensors with single also 8 megapixel ultra wide, and the 50 megapixels are wide and telephoto with a 16 megapixel selfie. And with those cameras can do 4K 30 and 1080p up to 120 frames per second. So one of the things that Nubia does is makes phones that are good, that have good cameras. This is not it. This is a pathetic joke of a Nubia device, I would say. It offers nothing really that would be worth even that money that they want. They're trying to go for the hype of Samsung and Apple with their bullshit kind of thin phones that didn't sell well, and it completely falls flat on its face. Now, mind that they try to make it a budget-oriented version of it, but it still falls flat on its face. If you don't care for your device to be this thin, which realistically it's not like super thin, just to kind of give you a comparison, like this is the S25. Let me maybe take off this first. So you can see it's thinner, obviously. If I move it like side by side. There we go. So you can see it literally like side by side. It's honestly like very close to the thickness of the Samsung. It's not much thinner than the Samsung. So as a thin phone, it kind of fails at that. And as a Nubia, it fails at everything else. Having good battery size, good charging speeds, good cameras. The only thing that it delivers is a good display, but other devices deliver good displays at lower prices with better cameras, better charge, and better specifications. Like I said, the CMF Phone 2 Pro being the prime candidate to basically be chosen over this, offering literally improvements over everything that this phone offers, just not being this thin phone. So, should you pick this device up? Probably not. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, don't forget to smash like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.